Hello students, let's start with a new topic in our lecture series of computer networks. Today we will learn about domain name system, which is also known as DNS. What all we will be covering in this particular topic? That is first one, what is the need of DNS? What do you mean by namespaces? What is FQDN and PQDN? And how we resolve the name addresses. So first thing, what is the need of a DNS or a domain name system? So, to identify an entity, TCP/IP protocols use the IP address. You all know we use the IP address to identify any particular node over a network, which uniquely identifies the connection of the host to the internet. However, people prefer to use names instead of numeric addresses. Why? Because they are tough to remember. Just take an example, if you are not writing Yahoo but typing in the IP address, may it be the IPv4 or IPv6 IP address into the URL port, tough. So what we use? We use names, Yahoo. Therefore, we need a system that can map the names, the English names to the IP addresses. Now this system is known as a domain name system. So with this diagram, we can easily see out here one application is there. What is an application? A browser, may it be. What it needs? It needs to transfer some request to one particular domain name. So what it will do? The DNS client will send a request to the DNS server. Now what is a DNS server? Which is having all the listing of the domain names with their IP addresses. So the request will be sent to the DNS server and the response will be given back to the client, the DNS client, which will relay it back to the file transfer client, and hence the connection will be established using the IP address. Out here we have typed the English term, for example a domain name, and that is resolved back into the IP address, which is used to connect with that particular place, that particular node, that particular device over the internet. So what is a namespace? What do you mean by a namespace? So if we are going with to be unambiguous, the names assigned to the machine must be carefully selected from the namespace that complete control over the building and the binding between the names and the IP addresses. In other words, the name must be unique because the addresses are unique. A namespace that maps the address to a unique name can be organized into two ways. That could be a flat namespace or could be a hierarchical namespace. Important is any English term, any particular domain name which we are using should be unique. It cannot be just any domain name I can use. If yahoo.com is already been taken by one company, I cannot use that particular domain name as my own. Mostly what we are using the hierarchical domain namespace. What is it? It is an inverted tree, or you can say the same tree that we were using in the data structure part, where the root is at the top and the leaves are at the bottom. This helps us in a very nice way to create a registry to search the domain name in a speedy way. Now, how this thing is divided? Now, the domain names are divided into labels, each and every part. For example, let's take an example, a domain name that is a challenger.atc.fhda.edu. Now, each and every part out here is one label. For example, edu is a label, fhda is a label, atc is a label, challenger is a label. So, we are using a combination of labels, and each label poses one particular level in the tree, which is ranging to the root. Now, there are two types of domain names. One is FQDN and other one is PQDN. What is FQDN? Fully qualified domain name, whereas PQDN is partially qualified domain name. Now, if in the tree we are knowing the exact position of the domain name, the exact position, that is we are resolving till the root, that is a fully qualified domain name. You can see the example, the challenger.atc.fsda.edu, at the end there is a dot again. Now, this type of a thing is known as a fully qualified domain name, which is ending till the end, till a dot. Till a dot means the last one, that is root. Whereas if we are not knowing the exact position, that is just the opposite of FQDN, we don't know the exact position onto the domain name tree, then this type is known as PQDN, partially qualified domain name. How you can recognize it in the exams? It won't be ending with a dot. All the other things could be the same. Just as an example, the first one, challenger.atc.fsda.edu, but it is not ending at the dot. Means what? It is not resolving till the root. So, it is known as PQDN, partially qualified. Now, what is DNS in the internet? Now, DNS is a protocol which can be used in different platforms. In the internet, the domain name space, that is a tree, is divided into three different sections, three different types of labels. That is, first one is a generic domains, second country domains, and the third one, that is inverse domain. Now, what are they? Let's take some examples. First one, if we take as a first thing, that is generic domain. What is a generic domain? The particular ones that are directly involved in our domain names, that are common, that are generic. For example, if we are taking our example of kite web application website, then it is kite.edu. Now, that edu is one particular generic part. Similarly, if it is a business firm, it can take a .biz. If it is a commercial firm, it can take it as a .com. If it is an information service provider, it can take it as a info. If it is a government institution, it can take it as a gov. You must have seen all these generic domains throughout. Important is you should be very much clear that these labels are known as the generic domain. Now, what are country domains? As the name specifies, the country domain simply provides us with which country my particular domain name is specified or is related to. For example, if I am using one country, that is for example IN, it is for India, PK is for Pakistan, .US, that is for USA. There are multiple different company and different country names that can be used as a country domain. You must have seen the sites like yahoo.co.in. where the co part is the generic domain, whereas the .in is the country domain. Now what is Yahoo then? Now Yahoo is one particular inverse domain that is directly connecting a system as a keyword or a unique word. What we just have seen in the namespace is that it has to be unique, the domain name has to be unique. Now which part has to be unique? Because country domain and generic domain are common. The name itself says generic. They can be used by multiple domain names. So how can we create it a unique one? That is the inverse domain by which we can do it. Out here, the name, the unique name that we are taking up is the inverse domain, which will be directly connecting as a IP address, resolved as an IP address once it is completely resolved. Now what is actually resolution? How we are actually resolving one particular IP address back into their domain name and domain name back into their IP address. So that particular mapping is known as address resolution, or to be particular, name address resolution. So if I go with the terms, mapping a name to an address or an address to a name is called as a name address resolution. How we do it? There are basically two different techniques. First one is recursive resolution. Now what is recursive resolution and what we do in it? We had seen the client server thing, where the client was requesting a DNS server and the DNS server was responding with the IP address. Now what we do out here in a recursive resolution, the client sends a request to the first level of the tree. What that particular level or what that particular node in the tree will be doing, it will send the request to the next level. The client did not have to send the request to the next level, but the intermediary node, intermediary server will be forwarding the request to the next level. It will keep on being recursively sent or forwarded to the next level till it reaches the correct inverse domain holder. Once the request is reaching the correct server or the correct node in the complete DNS tree, then it will retrieve back. It will be recursively sending the request response back to the client. You can see it clearly in this diagram, that is the client is sending a request to fhda.edu, but that is not having the IP address, it is just a generic name. So the request is forwarded to edu, the edu forwarded it to root server, the root forwarded it to .com server, and it reaches to magro.com. Once it is reached to the magro.com, which is a inverse domain, you can see it, magro is an inverse domain. The IP address is resolved and the path is tracked back to the client. Now this is known as a recursive resolution, a chained resolution. Second one is iterative resolution. What is iterative? The client itself is responsible for all the queries. It won't be recursively forwarded to all the other systems. The client itself will be used. How that thing will be done? For example, the client first forwarded the request to fhda.edu. It was not found. It was sent a reply with the address of the next server. So the client will use the address of the next server and send a request, request number 3. the response came in as a IP of the next one, next node, where you have to check it. The EDO server directly did not connect it to the next server, but it sent the value, it sent the IP back to the client that check it out, we can check from the next one. And the client will keep on checking the next server one by one until and unless it finds the correct node. Once it has found out the correct node, that particular node will send the response as the IP address where we have to connect. Now this thing is known as iterative resolution, one by one. Now this type of a iterative resolution is mostly used. Why? Because in recursive one, there could be a high traffic onto a particular server. If it forwards each and everything to the next one by taking its own privilege. So what we take? We take iterative resolution in most of the places. Here are some references from where these all texts are taken. Thank you.